Oh my God. Banco. Banco. Stop going further. Edwin called out with his voice echoing from the sandy bank of the river where he was gathering periwinkles. Edwin, what's the matter? Banco asked as he came out from the shallow part of the water where he was and moved towards Edwin to know why he was screaming. Look, Banco, look towards the river. Can you see some bubbles and see how the tides is becoming high on one side of the river? We need to leave, Banco. This isn't normal. We need to leave, now. Edwin responded with his voice already shaking in fear. No, let's wait and watch what happens. This isn't normal, that's why I want to see what happens. Banco said without any sense of fear in him. What if the river overflows and gets to where we are standing? And sweeps us away to a place we don't know or to the middle of the sea and we drown? Edwin said, his legs trembling in fear. You can go if you're scared, Edwin. I'd stay here and watch. I have never experienced something like this, not here in Ogwe River. I'm sure there's a mystery behind this, Banco responded with his eyes fixated on the river. Don't say I didn't warn you. Edwin said as he stood up to leave. Other villagers at the river had left as well for fear of the tides on one side of the river which became so high. Banco sat at the river bank alone, his hands on his chin, watching the tides rumbling and waves of water moving fast. Ever since he lost his mother, he loved to be alone at the river or with his friend Edwin. Looking up towards the river once again, what his eyes saw, Banco couldn't believe it. His eyes saw a very beautiful creature dazzling like the sun with so much beauty. It was like an apparition. He wondered how such a beautiful girl would be in the middle of the river at a time when the tides are high. He was so lost in her beauty until he saw a fish-like tail wriggling. It was the beautiful girl's tail and it was glowy and very dazzling like gemstones. Wow! This is beautiful. I can't believe it. I just behold a mermaid having a bath. A real mermaid. I must be dreaming. This is very awesome. Maybe I should compliment her. Banco said to himself. Hello, beautiful, Banco called out to her as he went close to the mermaid, who was unaware of his presence while she scooped water to wash her face. On hearing a voice, the mermaid turned and looked at him in shock and immediately dived back into the water, but Banco stayed waiting for her to get back, and luckily for him she came back. Hello, you're the prettiest creature I've ever seen. You're really pretty and your beauty doesn't seem like that of this world. Banco said with smiles all over his face. Thank you, the mermaid responded. My name is Banco. Do you have a name? Banco asked the mermaid, unsure if such creatures bear names. Yes, I do. My name is Linda, the mermaid added. Linda, what a beautiful name. Banco said with excitement written all over his face. Curious about the mermaid, he asked, can you ever come on land? Or because you have no legs you stay in the sea? I use my tails for the water, but if there's ever a need to come on land I can transform. Linda the mermaid responded. And you? What are you doing here? Whenever the river behaves like this all the humans leaves, how come you didn't go? She added. For some reasons I couldn't leave, maybe because fate wanted me to meet you. You say you transform? Wow. You mean you can change to become a human on land? Banco asked, looking at her curiously. Yes, I can transform to become human when on land. But it's not normal and against the rules of my world to always be on land. My home is underneath the water. She said. Can you tell me about your world and take me there someday? Banco asked boldly. Yes, but humans are forbidden to go under the water deep down to my world because the power is too much for them to bear. Linda the mermaid responded. We call it the marine world here, and I have heard stories that there are so much gold down there. Banco said, looking at her in her eyes. He was lost in her beauty. Yes, my world is beautified with so much gold and there are lots of riches. But some humans pay homage to us and get rich, but in exchange for something, sometimes something that may cost them. Linda the mermaid said. You're a handsome human. I have barely seen humans who are good looking, she added softly. Ha 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 ha, Banco laughed. There are a lot of good looking humans here. He added. In my world, a human has to be extremely good looking to be considered pretty or handsome because we're used to so much beauty which can either be a curse or a blessing. The standards of my world are so high. Linda said. You said it'd cost a human to get riches from your world, so what would it cost me? And why is beauty in your world considered a curse? Bankole asked as his curiosity grew. You're human and I won't be able to explain the situation to you, you won't understand. In my world, beauty entails sacrifices. If I want to forever stay on land, I may give up my beauty, that's an example. Linda said. But you can easily transform and stay temporarily. Do you enjoy it here anytime you transform to human form? Bankole said, trying to understand her. I do, but it'll cost me a lot if I keep coming. There are strict rules guiding how we visit your part of the world, Bankole, and if I spend my time here all the time, my people would try to find out why I'm always visiting your world, and if they find out I've broken the rules of not speaking to humans, I would be in so much trouble. Considering that I'm also a princess, I would lose my position. Linda said, her eyes flinching, and she looked at Bankole in admiration. No one would know, Linda. It can be kept a secret just between the both us. I'd never let anyone in the village know I speak to you, and you'd be careful so no one in your world knows you speak to me. Bankole said, trying to assure her as he noticed a pang of fear in her. You don't understand, speaking to humans are totally forbidden. It is a sacred rule in my world and one can get heavily punished for it. We are being monitored so they'd find out. She said, feeling bad about leaving soon, because deep in her heart she was excited to speak to a human and wished to continue. Are you ready to go back deep into the water? I can see your tail wriggle like you want to move. Bankole said as he noticed her tail flinching. Yes, I would take my leave. I sense that a search party would soon be sent out to find me. Linda said. I wish you would stay some more. I'm enjoying your conversations. You're my first female friend and you happen to be extraordinary. I hope we meet again. Bankole said as he opened his arms to welcome a hug from her. I'd visit you again, my friend. Linda said as she spread her arms and hugged him. Immediately she dived into the river and Bankole stood there watching her leave, and again he felt lonely. Linda kept visiting without minding the risk she was putting herself into. Her bond with Bankole strengthened by the day. They weren't in love, but their friendship was so much bliss. Linda always told Bankole stories of her world, their powers, beauty, riches and secrets. Oftentimes they'd both swim in the shallow part of the water, sometimes they'd swim deep, but she took him to her world only once and her mom rebuked him and warned her about humans. When she transformed to human, they'd play on land and play in the bushes close to the river. They were always there at night when all the villagers had retired for the day and during some hot afternoons when the villagers were home resting. Linda, can you take me to your part of world? I just want to see the beauty that lies beneath there. Bankole said, eager for an adventure to the marine world. But Bankole, I already explained to you, it's risky. Linda said, looking at him closely. Let's take the risk, Linda. Don't be scared, I'll be fine. Bankole said, trying to assure her. Okay, then we can go today. My people would be very busy to notice, although they may sense it, but we can go now. Linda said as she took his hand. They both dived into the water. They began swimming deep, and when they got to the marine world, what Bankole saw was above his imaginations. He couldn't believe his eyes. This place is magical. Wow, very beautiful. Everywhere glitters just like your beauty. Bankole said in excitement while complimenting her at the same time. Linda. A feminine voice called out in a commanding tone. This made Bankole freeze a bit. Linda, are we in trouble? He asked with his voice trembling as if in fear. Bankole, that's my mom. She must have seen us from the mirror. Linda said. A mirror? Bankole asked, surprised. Yes, Bankole. In the human world, you humans use machines to monitor, but with just a mirror we can see everything, even what happens in your world, Linda responded. That's magical. Would you give me a mirror? In case I need to see you and you can't come to the land. Bankole said, looking at her. Maybe I would consider that, she responded. Linda. The voice thundered again, but closer this time. Mother. She responded with her voice quivering a bit with fear. She knew she was in trouble. Immediately a woman with a long hair and strong aura of authority appeared. She was as beautiful as Linda and dazzles even more. She shone like a Sunday. Banco couldn't stand her, so he hid behind Linda's back. How dare you? What have you just done? Don't you know what risk you have put yourself in? Why did you bring a human to this place? Return him back to his land immediately, before the other mermaids and mermen returns. The queen said with so much anger. But, Mother, he is my friend. I would quickly show him around and we'd leave. He is not like other humans. Mother, please give him a chance. Linda said in defense of Banco. I said return him back. No human is kind. You're endangering your life and putting yourself at risk here. If you don't return him, I shall cause a part of you to shrink. The queen said, boiling in anger. Queen, I'm so sorry, you don't have to harm Linda, and I'm different. I would do no harm to her. She's my first female friend. I'd protect her instead of harming her. Banco said, trying to clear the doubts. You lie. Your kind is not welcomed here and our species is endangered by your presence. You should be scared. Leave now or I curse you and your family. I shall strike you with an illness if you don't leave now. The queen said she wasn't to be convinced. Let's go, Banco. I told you it's a big risk to come down here. Linda said softly but in fear. Mother, keep this to yourself. I shall return Banco to his word, but no other shall hear of it, please, Mother. Linda added as she begged the queen. Go. And never return him here and never go to meet him, and your secret is safe. She said and immediately wagged her tail and dived to the other side. Linda, let's just stay a bit, we'd leave. Banco begged her. Did you not just hear her? Do you want me to shrink? Or you want to be struck by an illness? Linda asked, shocked by Banco's daring behavior. The water current on their side became rumbling and a force separated Banco from Linda and began squeezing him away. Linda! What's happening? He screamed in fear. Mother, please don't do this, please. I shall safely return him back. Please, Mother. Linda said, and immediately the queen's voice thundered in so much anger. You wasted my time. How dare you disobey me? You'd bear the consequences of your disobedience. The queen said with so much fury. But Mother, I was about to return him. Mother, please spare him and I shall take him away immediately. She pleaded. Linda. Linda. Please help me, Banco screamed faintly. Mother, please. Linda screamed. And immediately the currents released him. He started coughing and immediately Linda rushed up to him and took him with her. I'm sorry, Banco. This all what I warned you about, she said in remorse. I'm sorry too, Linda. I would have listened to you. They both swam together until they got to the shallow part where Banco could swim alone to the bank. I'd leave you here now, Banco. Thank you for coming, Linda said as she embraced him. Goodbye, Linda, Banco said and pecked her on the cheeks. After the incident for weeks, Linda didn't come and Banco would sit at the bank of the river and waited for her. On a very windy night, while he waited, Linda appeared in her dazzling beauty. She had transformed to her human form and walked majestically towards Banco. He felt a tap on his back, hoping it was Linda. Before he turned, he said her name. Linda. Are you here? He asked. Thank you for watching. Watch out for part 2. Don't forget to like, subscribe and comment what you think about this story. Bye for now.